Trump's latest power play, the firing of FTC commissioners and its dangerous precedent. The shocking move that has Washington talking. Imagine waking up to find that the President of the United States has single-handedly removed key officials from an independent government agency. No warnings, no clear justifications, just an abrupt, unprecedented purge. That's exactly what happened when President Donald Trump fired the 2 Democratic commissioners from the Federal Trade Commission, sending shockwaves through both the political and business worlds. But why does this matter? And more importantly, could this be a warning sign of more aggressive power moves to come? The implications extend far beyond the FTC, touching on the balance of power within the federal government and raising serious questions about the independence of regulatory agencies. A sudden dismissal with serious consequences. Traditionally, independent regulatory agencies like the FTC operate without direct presidential control to ensure fair enforcement of laws. Commissioners can only be removed for cause such as neglect, malfeasance or inefficiency, not simply because the president disagrees with their decisions or wants a more compliant commission. Yet Trump ignored this precedent, claiming full authority to dismiss the Democratic commissioners. His administration doubled down, with the White House press secretary defending the move, even suggesting they would take the fight to the Supreme Court if necessary. What's at stake here isn't just a few jobs, it's the integrity of independent oversight in the United States government. If a president can freely remove officials from regulatory bodies, then those agencies are no longer independent. They become extensions of the White House, subject to political whims rather than the rule of law. The bigger picture. Could the Federal Reserve be next? This brazen move raises a terrifying question. If the president can fire FTC commissioners at will, could he also remove leaders from other independent agencies like the Federal Reserve? The Federal Reserve plays a crucial role in maintaining economic stability. Its independence ensures that monetary policy is based on economic realities, not political pressures. If a president were to remove the Fed chair or board members for not aligning with his economic policies, it could send markets into chaos, erode investor confidence, and even trigger a financial crisis. Kevin Hassett, a top Trump economic advisor, attempted to calm fears, stating that the administration respects the independence of the Fed. But given Trump's history of attacking Federal Reserve officials for policy decisions he didn't like, skepticism remains high. When presidents exert undue influence over the Fed, it can lead to reckless economic policies that prioritize short-term political gains over long-term financial stability. A dangerous precedent for future administrations. Whether or not this decision is overturned, Trump's actions have already set a dangerous precedent. Future presidents, regardless of party, may now feel emboldened to remove officials from independent agencies who do not align with their agendas. Imagine a scenario where a Democratic president fires Republican-appointed regulators overseeing Wall Street, paving the way for aggressive financial regulations without bipartisan input. Or picture a future Republican administration dismissing environmental regulators who enforce strict emissions policies, clearing the way for unchecked industrial pollution. If this firing is allowed to stand, it means that any future president could reshape independent agencies to serve their own political and economic interests, dismantling over a century of bipartisan safeguards in the process. Who benefits? Follow the money. Many are wondering, why now? Why these specific FTC commissioners? A fired commissioner, Rebecca Slaughter, believes the answer lies in protecting corporate interests. In a scathing interview, she pointed out that the FTC is currently engaged in litigation against some of the biggest names in tech, many of whom were seen flanking Trump at his inauguration. By removing independent voices from the FTC, Trump could be clearing the path for business-friendly decisions that benefit his allies. Consider this. The FTC recently sued major pharmacy benefit managers over high insulin prices and returned $330 million to defrauded American consumers in 2023 alone. If the agency loses its independence, such consumer protections could be severely weakened. The potential beneficiaries of a weaker FTC are clear major corporations that want to avoid antitrust scrutiny and regulatory penalties. Without independent commissioners who challenge corporate overreach, businesses may face fewer legal barriers to monopolistic behavior, price fixing, and consumer exploitation. Could this battle go to the Supreme Court? Legal experts argue that Trump's decision is unconstitutional, pointing to a 1935 Supreme Court case, Humphrey's Executive v. United States, which ruled that FTC commissioners cannot be removed without cause. If this case is challenged, the Supreme Court could be forced to decide whether to uphold nearly 90 years of precedent or grant presidents sweeping new powers over independent agencies. Slaughter and her fellow fired commissioner, Alvaro Bedoya, are ready to fight, declaring that this is about more than just their jobs. It's about maintaining checks and balances in government. This isn't about me, Bedoya told the New York Times. It's about whether independent agencies can be turned into political tools. If the Supreme Court sides with Trump, it could upend the structure of regulatory agencies across the board, stripping them of their independence and transforming them into extensions of the executive branch. This would significantly alter the balance of power in Washington, giving future presidents unchecked authority over government oversight. What happens next? The fallout from this move is just beginning. If the courts side with Trump, future presidents, regardless of party, could gain unchecked authority to reshape regulatory agencies to fit their agendas. That means consumer protections, financial stability, and even fair elections could be at risk. But beyond the legal battle, there is a broader question Americans must ask themselves. Are we comfortable with a government where regulatory agencies are no longer independent? Where watchdogs designed to protect consumers, small businesses, and the economy itself can be dismantled at the whim of a sitting president? For now, all eyes are on Washington to see how this legal and political battle unfolds. But one thing is certain, the precedent set today could change the very foundation of government oversight for decades to come. The stakes are higher than ever. Will the courts uphold nearly a century of independent regulatory governance, or will they hand the presidency unprecedented control over the agencies meant to check its power?